Yes, my people, it's your boy Enzo, the realest in the game, and just like that, I'm back with another one. So, let's talk David Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde. These two men will lock horns in November for the WBC light heavyweight title. I believe the fight is actually going to take place on the undercard of Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. That is going to be a cracker of a weird season card. Listen, I'm really looking forward to it, man. Anthony Yarde is a lucky boy. After his recent performances, I don't know what he's done to deserve a title shot, but you know what? He must have the right management around him. He's got the right people around him because they seem to be getting him the big fights. Obviously, Yarde, he's signed to Frank Warren Queensbury promotion, so you know what? Frank Warren is doing big things now, but Anthony Yarde, we've seen him in this position before where he's fighting for a title. He went up against Kovalev, I believe it's like 2021 or something. During the lockdown season, he went all the way over to Russia. The preparation wasn't quite right for him. And he fell short. You know, he fell short due to the inexperience from Yarde himself and his coach, Tunde. You know, I feel like they could have planned that fight a little bit better. Anthony Yarde emptied all the gas tank on the 8th round and unfortunately didn't have nothing left. If he had a bit more experience at that time, he could have got Kovalev out of there, but he just gassed himself up. And you know what? Kovalev, with all that experience, I think finished him in the 9th or the 10th round, I believe. But Yarde did well in that fight. He actually did well. I just feel like I said, the lack of experience let him down in that fight. We move forward a little bit. I think 2-3 years later, he fights against Artur Beterbiev. Again, he gives Artur Beterbiev a tough fight. It was a good, entertaining fight. Both men going back and forth, but Artur Beterbiev again stepped on the gas and he eventually stopped Anthony Yarde. I believe it's like round 9 or 10 or whatever. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. Please correct me. But yeah, Beterbiev stopped him. But if you look at the guys that Anthony Yarde has gone up against, whenever he's gone up to fight for a title, these are Hall of Famers, man. Kovalev is one of the greatest light heavyweights of all time. He was a tough guy, and at that time, he wasn't like his prime peak condition, but he was still Kovalev. You know what I mean? He was a tough guy to break down. So, like, Anthony Yarde did okay. Come forward against Beterbiev again. Look at Beterbiev, man. Undisputed champion at the light heavyweight division. Like, come on, there's no shame on losing to Artur Beterbiev. So Anthony Yarde, whenever he stepped up, he's gone up against the best. He's gone up against elite fighters. So we can't really fault him too much. You know, we can't fault him too much. Like me, Anthony Yarde, I always want the best for Anthony Yarde because I grew up in the same area as him. We're both from East London, Newham, Stratford. He literally grew up like a couple of blocks away from me. Like we used to play football in a cage as kids. I never saw him as the boxing type. Do you know what I mean? He was always playing football. So I was thinking, you know what, he's going to go ahead and become a football player in the Premier League or something. For those of you who are international, I'm not talking American football, I'm talking about soccer, you know, Ronaldo, Messi, you know them. So yeah, I thought Anthony Yarde was going to be there. So when I moved out of the area for a couple of years and then I saw him on TV, he's boxing, I was like, wow, this guy's a boxer and he's knocking people out. I was like, whoa, he's done well. But yeah, he's had some tough fights when he's gone up for titles, and this would not be any different. He's going up against David Benavidez, who's undefeated, 30 fights, 24 knockouts here, and he throws a lot of punches, man, and he hurts people. So again, it's going to be another tough fight for Anthony Yarde, yeah, but surely he's learned from the experience. He's been in there, like I said, Kovalev against Beterbiev. Like, I don't see nothing really like kind of like getting Anthony Yarde, that will get Anthony Yarde scared. Do you know what I mean? Of David Benavidez, because he's been there with some monsters, man. So I expect Anthony Yarde to go into this fight fully confident. I'm not saying because he's confident he's going to win the fight, because I actually believe that David Benavidez is favourite for this fight. I believe that David Benavidez is the more skilled fighter. He's the better boxer. However, saying that, Anthony Yarde, especially with the experience that he's had in his recent title fights, if he takes all of that in there, if he's able to pace himself, if he's able to follow a good game plan, man, he could give David Benavidez problems, man, because Anthony Yarde can crack. We've seen it. He's got that one-punch knockout power. He's a powerful boy. So he can definitely go in there and give David Benavidez problems. But the thing is, I just feel like, you know, like as much as I want Anthony Yarde to win because we're from the same area and I always root for him, yeah, I just feel like David Benavidez is just a tough guy, man. I'm going to keep it real. He's a tough guy. He just keeps on throwing punches. He's never phased. And I feel like eventually Anthony Yarde will gas and he's going to get stopped. I think he's going to get stopped around the 9th and the 10th round. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong because listen, man, Anthony Yarde, like I said, is my guy. We're from the same area. It would be great for him to win, for him and his family and everyone around him. Like for him to win a world title, that would be like a fantastic achievement for my area as well. I don't think we've ever had a champion that's come from where I grew up in Newham. I don't think so, not in boxing. So that would be a great story. I would be fully gassed about that. I would be happy as well. But it's a tall order. It's a tall order. But at 33 years of age, Anthony Yarde, he knows this is the last chance he's gonna have at a world title. You know, he's had 2 bites of the cherry already. Some fighters only get 1 bite of the cherry. Anthony Yarde is getting a 3rd bite of the cherry, yeah? Like, you have to go all out, bro. You really have to go all out. And I hope that Tunde, whoever else is in his coaching team, like, they really come up with a great game plan to try and beat David Benavidez. Listen, we're going to come back here the closer the fight gets. We're going to talk, you know, fight breakdown. We're gonna do the analysis. We're gonna talk about pros and cons, the strengths and the weaknesses, etc. We're gonna do it as the fight gets closer. But good news for Anthony Yarde because I thought eventually this fight was gonna go to Callum Smith. I thought Callum Smith would be fighting David Benavidez next, but there must have been some type of breakdown in negotiations. It must be financial. That's the only thing that I can see this Callum Smith not fighting David Benavidez because Callum Smith, he wanted the fight against David Benavidez. I think David Benavidez himself called out Callum Smith. So that fight was already like in the making. That was meant to happen. The fact that everything just collapsed and Anthony Yarde stepped in, that means Callum Smith and his people probably didn't agree with the money that was on the table. And, you know, Anthony Yarde saw the opportunity and he thought, you know what? I'll fight you for less money and I'm getting a title shot. So listen, it's a great win for Anthony Yarde. Obviously, a lot of people want to see Callum Smith fight for the title, especially after his performance against Joshua Buatsi. Fantastic performance, but it hasn't happened. It probably happen in the future. That's a fight that I still want to see. But for Anthony Yarde, mate, you have to go all out. What an opportunity. What a great opportunity. At your age, you're not going to get another one. This is it. This is it, especially based on your last performances against Volkans and Lyndon Arthur. There were no performances that will put you in a title fight. Not at all. The fact that you're in this position right now, mate, you're blessed. You are blessed. You know, Anthony Yarde is one of them fighters that he's not a superstar. He's not a superstar, but his name is big enough that it generates enough interest for him to be offered title fights, you know? Like, if you're just anybody else, if you're like a no-name, you're not getting a title fight, especially after the performances from Yarde. But the fact that he's getting this title shot, it just shows that, listen, he's got some type of pull with Turki Al-Sheikh, etc., etc. So, listen, congrats, Anthony Yarde. I hope you do the business come November. Thank you so much for watching EMGM Sports, my people. Please leave your comments down below. What do you think of Anthony Yarde's chances in this fight? Can you see him defeating David Benavidez? It's going to be a tough ask, man. But I hope he does it. I hope he does it. You know, he's from my area, like I said. But let me know in the comments. Let's have that conversation. I really appreciate it. Once again, like I said, thank you so much for watching EMGM Sports. Please don't forget to smash the like button. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe because that's the only way you're going to help us to grow. I'll be back real soon with another one. Until then, stay blessed, my people. Peace.